Hi everyone, I'm Serious. As you know, my channel specializes in making Godzilla videos as well as other kaiju species. This time, I will continue to work on a famous kaiju often appearing with Biggie, which is Rodan. This video content will be top 5 Rodan in the movie. In chronological order movies appeared, not in the order of strength, you guys. This video will be part 1 with the first 2 Rodan. Okay, let's get started. 5. Original Rodan. The first film to feature Toho's famous kaiju Rodan. The film begins with the series of savage murders taking place in the coal mines beneath Kitamachi, Kyushu. The authorities soon learn the murders are the work of giant three-headed dragonfly nymphs called Meganulon. A mission to exterminate the creatures causes engineer Shigeru Kawamura to become trapped in a huge underground cavern, where he witnesses the titanic pterosaur Rodan hatch from its egg and feed down the Meganulon surrounding it. When Rodan begins the supersonic campaign of destruction around the Far East, the JSDF scramble to find countermeasures against the beast. But the situation becomes even more dire when a second Rodan appears and joins its mate in an assault on Fukuoka. The JSDF drags the Rodans back to their nest at the base of Mount Aso, and makes plans to shell the volcano and trigger an eruption that will trap the monster under the lava and rock. At the end, the military begins its attack with tanks and honest-drawn rockets. Soon the volcano begins to spew smoke and lava into the sky when the Rodans emerges, but is overcome by the fumes. As the second Rodan arrives on the scene, the first loses altitude and finally falls into the stream of lava flowing down the side of the volcano. The ancient reptile begins to scream in pain as it burns alive in the lava. Suddenly, the second Rodan descends and lands with the first in the lava, and it too begins to burn. Rather than live on alone, the creature will die with its companion. 4. Showa Rodan, 1964, 1965, and 1968. Origins. Rodan is a pteranodon that survived in an egg underneath Mount Aso for 200 billion years. Radiation from nuclear testing seeped into the cavern containing Rodan's egg, and in combination with rising global temperatures and accumulated volcanic gases caused it to hatch once equal on Earth. It is never clarified exactly how Rodan became gigantic, as characters note that the creature is far larger than any pteranodon on record, while nuclear radiation is believed to be responsible for awakening Rodan. It is never proposed that the radiation were responsible for causing it to reach gigantic size, at least in the Showa series. In 1964, 8 years after the Rodans were seemingly killed in the fires of Mount Aso, the accumulation of volcanic gases in the volcano awakened the Rodan from the volcano's crater. The identity of this Rodan is ambiguous, and it is unclear if it is a surviving Rodan from 1956. Or potentially one of their offspring. Mass dueling Asano seems to suggest it is a surviving Rodan, as it claims the volcanic gases have resurrected it. Abilities: Supersonic flight. Rodan can fly at the speed of Mach 1.5, allowing him to cover large distances quickly in the air and easily evade and catch enemy aircrafts. Shockwaves. Rodan produces destructive shockwaves while flying, which can destroy anything below him, such as bridges and buildings. Wind gusts. While on the ground or hovering in the air, Rodan can produce gusts of hurricane force winds by flapping his wings repeatedly. These winds are capable of destroying buildings and blowing away vehicles. These winds will also produce a cloud of debris around Rodan, making it harder for Rodan's enemies to hit them. Wind breath. In the character's debut film, the Rodans can fire blasts of radioactive wind from their mouths, which is capable of destroying objects in its path. This ability has never been used since. Durability. Rodan is extremely durable, resisting unconventional weaponry that is fired at him. Rodan is also seemingly unaffected by both Godzilla's atomic breath and King Ghidorah's gravity beams, only shaking his head in annoyance when Plastic point blank with Godzilla's atomic breath. It is possible that Rodan survived being submerged in molten lava. If the Rodan that appeared in 1964 was in fact a surviving Rodan from 1956. Physical abilities. In addition to his speed, Rodan is a very physically powerful opponent. Rodan can knock enemies like King Ghidorah out of the sky by ramming them at full speed while flying. Rodan can also use his jet spikes and talons to attack opponents while flying. Rodan can lift objects and other living creatures, such as when he carried Mothra into the air to attack King Ghidorah, or lifted a rock on planet X to drop it on King Ghidorah, and even those in excess of his own weight, such as when he lifted Godzilla in his talons to slam him into King Ghidorah in Invasion of Astro Monster. Aquatic capabilities. Rodan is capable of surviving when submerged underwater, as well as swimming short distances. This is first demonstrated in his debut film when he dives into a river, then flies out of the water a short distance ahead. Rodan also survives after falling into the ocean at the end of Invasion of Astro Monster, where he remains submerged underwater for a considerable length of time. In destroying monsters, Rodan is shown diving into the water to catch food. Witnesses. The two Rodans are both seemingly killed at the end of their debut film by burning to death after being submerged in molten lava flows. You can see that Rodan 1956 and Showa Rodan are related. However, we don't know if they are the same Rodan, so whether or not it can tolerate volcanic lava is not yet known.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you like.